It started on a quiet Sunday afternoon, the kind that feels too calm to be real. Maya was unpacking the last of her boxes when Riley walked in, suitcase in hand, smile bright enough to dissolve any hesitation. She spoke softly, asking if she could borrow a little space on Maya's shelf. It sounded innocent enough, but later, when Maya found her own framed photo tucked neatly beside Riley's toothbrush, something about that small familiarity made her chest tight. Riley's laughter filled the room, but behind it was a stillness, the kind that watches. And even then, Maya didn't know that this was the first day her reflection would begin to stare back with someone else's eyes. The first week blurred by in laughter and shared playlists. Riley asked about everything: what Maya ate, where she bought her clothes, which perfume she used. It felt like friendship, or something close to it. But by the second week, Maya noticed the small echoes. Riley humming her favorite song before she even played it, repeating phrases Maya hadn't said aloud yet. It wasn't just mimicry anymore. It was rehearsal. The dorm began to feel less like a room and more like a mirror that refused to stop reflecting her. By mid-September, Riley had begun dressing like her. Same thrifted sweaters, same chipped nail polish, even the same mismatched socks. When Maya laughed, Riley laughed louder. When Maya painted, Riley hovered close enough to smell the paint. It wasn't scary yet. Not until Riley started saying, "We have the same taste," as if Maya's choices had always been theirs. The day Riley showed up to class wearing Maya's handmade pendant, Maya's heart stuttered. She hadn't lent it to her. Riley smiled. Said she found it in the laundry. The teacher didn't even notice. That night, when Maya asked for it back, Riley claimed she didn't remember taking it. The pendant hung from her neck still, glinting cold in the fluorescent light. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. The dorm was too quiet, except for Riley's breathing in the dark. A faint glow leaked from Riley's phone screen, and for a second, Maya saw her own Instagram profile open on it. Her thumb hovered over the screen, scrolling slowly. When Riley looked up, her face was already smiling. At first, it was small, missing notes from her journal, a pair of earrings gone. Maya thought she was careless, tired. But one evening, while flipping through her sketchbook, she noticed something strange. A new drawing, perfect in her style, signed with her own name. Riley sat across the room, pretending to study. When Maya asked if she'd seen anyone touch her things, Riley smiled without looking up and said, "Maybe you forgot you drew it." That smile lingered like a secret she wasn't supposed to question. Maya started locking her journal, hiding her art supplies, even keeping her laptop under the bed. But Riley always seemed to know things she shouldn't. Details Maya never spoke aloud. What Maya wore tomorrow, the message she planned to send to Jordan, even the dream she had last night. Riley claimed it was intuition. But intuition doesn't sound like someone flipping through your thoughts in the dark. Jordan noticed first. "She's dressing like you," he said, half laughing, half concerned. Maya tried to brush it off. But when she looked across the cafeteria, she saw Riley sitting at another table, head tilted just like hers, holding the same drink, same notebook. The moment Riley caught her eye, she raised her cup in silent mimicry, like a toast between two reflections that didn't belong together. That night, Maya's door creaked open. Riley stood in the doorway, whispering, "I couldn't sleep." Maya pretended not to hear. Minutes later, she saw the faint glow of Riley's phone again. But this time, the light moved across Maya's desk. The next morning, her ID card was gone. Riley offered to help look. It turned up 2 days later in Riley's bag. She laughed it off, said it must have fallen in by accident. But when Maya took it back, her photo looked slightly different. By October, Maya couldn't tell what belonged to her anymore. Her words, her art, her clothes, all blurred into something shared, something taken. Riley started introducing herself to people Maya knew. Once in class, the professor called Maya's name and both answered. The class laughed. Maya didn't. When she looked at Riley, the girl was already smiling, lips parting just enough to whisper, "We're not that different." By midterm season, Riley's imitation had stopped hiding. She wore Maya's clothes, styled her hair the same way, and even introduced herself as Maya Thompson during art critiques. Everyone laughed. Everyone except Maya. It wasn't just annoying anymore. It was invasive. When she confronted Riley, the girl tilted her head, smiled, and said softly, "You make it look so easy to be you." That night, Maya lay awake, wondering what it meant to be her anymore when someone else was already wearing her life like a costume. Soon after, Maya's friends stopped texting back. Her messages went unread. Her social media suddenly quiet. Jordan finally called, asking why she'd been acting different lately. But Maya hadn't spoken to him in days. When they met at the quad, he showed her the messages. Long, cheerful replies written from her account, signed with her name. The handwriting was perfect. The words weren't hers. It wasn't just texts anymore. Professors started calling her Riley by accident. Her dorm keycard stopped working. When she logged into the campus system, her password was changed. But Riley's profile photo popped up instead. Maya stood in the computer lab, heart pounding, surrounded by screens that reflected her face. And Riley's name. It wasn't paranoia anymore. Someone was rewriting her existence, line by line. That night, Maya came back to find Riley's side of the room rearranged. Her posters, her photos, even her bedspread, now identical to Maya's. Two halves of the room, now indistinguishable. Riley sat at Maya's desk, humming softly while scrolling through photos of Maya's family. "I just love how close you are with your mom," she said without turning around. Maya's chest ached as she realized Riley wasn't just copying her anymore. She was studying her down to the people she loved. The next morning, Maya woke to the sound of her phone ringing. It was her mother. Except the voice on the other end wasn't speaking to her. "Riley, honey, how's school?" Maya froze, listening to her mother laugh, warm and trusting. She whispered, "Mom, it's me." But her mother's voice faltered. "Maya, I just spoke to you." That's when Maya's throat closed. Someone had taken her name, and her mother believed them. Maya didn't recognize her own voice when she finally said it. "Stop pretending to be me." The words came out quiet, shaking, but sharp enough to slice through the stale air of their dorm. Riley froze mid-motion, makeup brush hovering in front of the mirror. "Pretending?" she repeated. Soft laugh, trembling like glass. "You should be flattered. I only copy what's worth keeping." For a moment, Maya saw her reflection standing behind Riley's shoulder. Same sweater, same messy bun, except it wasn't her. It was the version Riley had built, and she looked stronger, calmer, more perfect. Maya took a step closer, the kind that meant she was done being scared. Maya started documenting everything. Voice notes, hidden photos, timestamps. Each detail was a breadcrumb leading back to Riley. It wasn't paranoia anymore. It was proof. She caught Riley logging into her laptop, writing drafts of emails to Maya's professors, even copying her signature. Every night, Maya waited for Riley to sleep, then deleted what she could. But for every account she reclaimed, another appeared. "You can't stop what's already me," Riley murmured once in her sleep. And Maya realized the danger wasn't in losing her passwords. It was in losing the parts of herself Riley had already memorized. Jordan met her at the library after class. He listened, disbelief fading as Maya showed him screenshots, her messages rewritten, her posts duplicated. "You need to show someone," he whispered. "But who?" The same professors who now thought Riley was the real Maya. The same dorm staff who'd mixed up their mail. Still, for the first time in weeks, Maya felt seen. Jordan's quiet concern grounded her, his steady gaze a reminder that truth still existed, if she could hold on to it long enough. When Maya returned to the dorm that night, her side was spotless. Her art supplies, her journals, her photos, all gone. In their place stood Riley's versions of everything. New sketchbooks, copied paintings, even a journal labeled Maya's Thoughts. The handwriting was flawless. Maya's throat tightened as she flipped through the pages, her secrets rewritten, her memories rephrased. The final line read, "I never existed without Riley." That's when Maya stopped being scared. She grabbed her phone, hit record, and whispered, "You want my story? Watch me write the ending." That night, Maya uploaded everything. Every recording, every photo, every message, to a private drive under a fake name. She printed copies and slipped one under Professor Lang's door. The next morning, Riley's side of the room was empty. Her clothes, her mirror, her photographs, gone. Only a note remained on Maya's desk. "You can delete me, but you'll never be sure who's left." Maya stared at it for a long time, then tore it in half. Outside, the sun broke through for the first time in days. For a while, life slipped back into something almost normal. Maya walked to class alone, ate alone, slept without hearing another breath in the dark. The silence felt strange, heavy, watchful. Sometimes she'd catch herself turning to answer a voice that wasn't there. Her reflections still hesitated before matching her movements. Riley was gone, but she had left fingerprints on Maya's habits. The way she tucked her hair, the rhythm of her handwriting, even the angle of her smile. It wasn't possession anymore. It was residue. One afternoon, while printing photos for her next art project, Maya froze. A new file had appeared on her flash drive, titled Reflections. Inside were portraits of her. Every shot was from angles she'd never seen. Sleeping, painting, walking through campus. All signed with the name Riley Bennett. Her stomach turned cold. Someone had been watching her long before she noticed. Professor Lang called her in that week. "You've evolved," he said, gesturing to her newest art piece. A self-portrait split in two, but Maya hadn't submitted anything new. The painting was Riley's, her style, her colors, her signature mimicking Maya's. "It was delivered to my office yesterday," he explained. "You don't remember?" Maya smiled weakly and shook her head. Deep down, she knew Riley had never stopped copying her. She just found new ways to exist. Maya stopped sleeping again. She caught movement in mirrors, shadows lagging behind, eyes blinking too slowly. One night, she turned off all the lights and stared into her reflection, whispering, "You're real. You're me." But the reflection didn't move. Then it smiled. Faintly, impossibly, and whispered something back, too soft to hear. Maya stumbled backward, heart racing, realizing the silence had never really been empty. At dawn, Maya packed her bags. She left the campus key on her desk, took one last look at the mirror, and walked out without glancing back. But as the door closed, the mirror's surface rippled, faintly, like something breathing beneath glass. Later that morning, a janitor found a new photograph pinned above the empty bed. It was a picture of Maya leaving. The signature at the bottom read, "Riley Bennett." It happened the night she came back to return her art portfolio. The campus was almost empty. Only the hum of vending machines and the faint squeak of her shoes in the hallway. Maya slid her key into the old dorm door, half expecting emptiness. Instead, the lights flickered on, revealing someone sitting at her old desk. The air smelled faintly of her perfume. "You left your sketchbook," the voice said, her voice. Riley turned slowly in the chair, hair cut shorter, eyes darker, smile steady. "I took care of everything while you were gone," she whispered, tapping the open notebook filled with pages of handwriting that looked exactly like Maya's. For a heartbeat, Maya didn't breathe. The line between them was gone. And maybe It had been for a long time. Maya's voice came out smaller than she meant. Why are you doing this? Riley didn't answer right away. She stood slowly, almost gently, like someone stepping out of a photograph. Because you make people see me, she said, eyes soft, words trembling like something rehearsed too long. When I was you, they smiled. They looked at me like I mattered. She took another step closer, holding out the sketchbook. You don't understand, Maya. I'm better at being you than you ever were. The words cracked open something inside Maya. Not fear this time, but fury. She snatched the book, pages ripping in her grip, and finally whispered, Then draw your own life. The argument spilled into a kind of silence that felt more dangerous than shouting. Riley stood there, trembling, eyes bright with tears that refused to fall. You think they'll believe you? She whispered. You think they won't choose the version of you that smiles better, speaks better, is better. Maya backed away, but Riley followed, every movement sensed like a mirror, lagging half a second behind. You took my life, Maya said. No, Riley breathed, stepping closer. I gave yours meaning. The room seemed to shrink. Maya could feel her pulse in her throat, the air thick with perfume and panic. Riley's hand darted out, gripping Maya's wrist. The touch was soft, almost pleading, but it burned like fire. Don't walk away from me, she said, voice cracking. We're the same. Maya tried to pull free, but Riley held tighter, nails digging in. You'll forget who you were without me, Riley hissed. I made you. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Not from fear this time, but from the ache of something once human that had twisted into obsession. No, she whispered, shaking. You just copied the parts I was too kind to hide. With one sharp movement, she tore her hand away. Riley's voice broke. You can't erase me. But Maya didn't answer. She walked to the mirror, the same one that had watched their entire unraveling, and stared at her reflection. For the first time, it looked back only at her. Riley's reflection didn't follow. Behind her, there was a sob, a door opening, footsteps fading down the hall. Maya's knees gave out. She laughed, quietly, shakily, because she finally felt like herself again, even if she no longer knew what that meant. Outside, dawn pressed pale light against the glass. A new day, a new face, finally, her own. Winter passed quietly. Maya moved off campus, got a small studio apartment near the art district, and started painting again. The days felt lighter. Her routines finally hers, but every so often, when she signed her name at the corner of a canvas, she hesitated, wondering if the curve of her aim belonged to her or to Riley. Healing, she realized, wasn't about forgetting. It was about learning to exist without needing to look over her shoulder. For a while, she managed that. One morning, she received an email from an unknown address. No subject line, just a photo attachment. At first, she almost deleted it, but curiosity won. The photo showed a girl standing in front of a mirror, back turned, hairstyled just like hers. The reflection in the mirror wasn't visible, only a caption, "Found you." Maya stared at it for a long time, her breath catching in her throat. She deleted it, emptied the trash folder, and shut her laptop, but the reflection on her screen lingered a moment too long before fading. That night she dreamt of the dorm again. 2 beds, 2 lamps, the faint hum of Riley's laughter in the dark. In the dream, she stood by the door watching herself sleep, whispering the same words Riley once did. You make people see me. When she woke, her heart was racing, her pillow damp. She didn't scream this time. She just stared at the ceiling until sunrise, letting the echo fade. Weeks later, during a gallery submission, Maya met a stranger who recognized her name. Oh, the woman said lightly. You're the artist Riley used to talk about. Maya smiled politely, though something in her chest turned cold. The woman pointed to a painting on display, a portrait signed RB. It was Maya's face, perfectly rendered, eyes soft and hauntingly familiar. Maya leaned closer, her own reflection merging with the brush strokes until she couldn't tell where one began and the other ended. That night, Maya locked the door, turned off the lights, and sat before her mirror again. She whispered softly, "I am Maya Thompson." The reflection said it too. She smiled. The reflection smiled. For a moment, she almost believed it was over, until her phone buzzed. One new message. No sender, no text, just a photo. Her, sitting in front of the mirror, taken from behind. This time she didn't delete it. She just stared, whispered, "You'll never be me," and watched her reflection's lips move. A split second too late.